Like to call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll, please?
Councilman Samaluka. Councilwoman Mazer. Councilwoman Diarmideo.
Here.
Councilman Accomando. Council President Camilleri.
Here. Please rise for the salute to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members on February 26, 2016, and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may and have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our mayor for his presentations.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, we're very fortunate to have with us our Bergen County Clerk, John Hogan. Thank you, John, for coming and taking time out of your busy schedule. John conducted research on old documents from Saddle River Township and is here tonight to make a presentation. Well, you'll see it in a second, but it's a beautiful poster of historical documents that he was able to retrieve from the county archives. I thank him very much for doing this. It's coming at a great time because, as you know, it's our 300th anniversary, and thank you very much for sharing this and offering us this beautiful poster. So, without further ado, Bergen County Clerk John Hogan.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, members of the governing body. I think I have to use the mic, right? I really don't like it, but we're here tonight to talk to you just for a second. I'm going to move this over, if you don't mind, so I can get closer, about the Bergen County Clerk's Around the County initiative. We checked around our office, and we found out that way back when, the county clerk was responsible for some important documents. There was a time when Bergen County was all together, not broken up into all little 70 towns that we are now. And when those towns decided that they were going to break away and form their own little unique communities, you had to file those articles of incorporation with the Bergen County Clerk. The first election that was held to decide whether you should become a town, the results were given to the Bergen County Clerk. The poster that was put up on the tree to announce the elections, that was given to the county clerk too. So we went into our archives and we found a lot of stuff that we felt was our responsibility to preserve, and so we did that because for this century, the best way to preserve things is to scan those documents. My folks used gloves, specially treated gloves, and they placed these documents into acid-free sleeves so that they would last a lot longer. Some of them are real brittle documents. We then decided that there's a lot more to my responsibility than preserving the documents. It's important that we share the documents with the communities because each community has its own unique character. You go right across the border. This community is different than the next community. You have your own community pride. And we felt that the best way to express that was to put something together. Now, I'm not a historian, and no one on my staff is a historian. We did bring down the county historian for some input, and then we took the documents and we reproduced them, which you're going to see in a little bit. Some of the documents we have are the original articles of incorporation. Some of them are those voting results. We have, if anyone's a firefighter here, we have the original exempt firefighter in some communities. We have old maps that are in like great shape yet. Some of this, most of this stuff dates back before the Vietnam War, the Korean War, World War II, World War I, before the Spanish-American War, and some of the stuff we found is actually before the Civil War. So it's some really historic information. So we put them together in a collage, not for us to interpret, but for you to enjoy, because we're not historians, all right? That's part of what I'm going to show you in a second. Also, Mayor, I'd just like to make a plug this evening for, we have a temporary satellite office we set up about 2 years ago. And we've been going throughout the county. I think we've hit about 8 communities now. What we do, we can't offer all the services. We can't file a deed and mortgage when we come out. But what we do is we offer passport services that the clerk's office is responsible for, notary publics, business trade names. We have the voter registration forms, the vote by mail applications, and we have photo cards that we offer. Before I got there, they offered photo cards for veterans. They called them honorary. A veteran is a veteran. So we changed it to veterans photo card. It's to help for discounts. So you can go out and produce the card. We said, we copied Hudson County. So why don't we expand it and offer it also for senior citizens, which we do free of charge, photo cards, and then exempt firefighters. So if you're a firefighter over 7 years, you don't have to go to the store and pull out your exempt papers to show that you were a firefighter. So that's some of the stuff that we do. And then, you know, if you have questions of other services, we discuss that. So please take us up on that. Temporary satellite office. And we'll come for 3 days and set up in your community. And the final thing is, if you go on our website, you'll see we have a video of some young people. They were actually summer interns 2 summers ago. And they were like filing stuff away and sticking stuff in envelopes. And we said, these are all smart college students. How can we get people to get out to register to vote and then to vote? So we locked them in a room. And we said to them, you got to come up with a video with music and everything that would encourage young people to go and register to vote. And they did. So if you click onto it, you'll see it. We've used this from first grade all the way up to college. And it's a 20-minute presentation. We show the video. I tell a little story. And we've gotten a lot of people register to vote. We were in Cliffside Park a couple of months ago in the presidential election. And kids were like all signing to get registered to vote. So take us up on that too. We come out, we speak about what the clerk's office does, and anytime you need us to speak before any organization in your town. Now, without further ado, this is Saddlebrook's presentation. The first time I did this, I tried to do it right off the board, and my 58-year-old eyes don't see what they used to see. So now I have my cheat sheets here, okay? But for us to do Saddlebrook, as the mayor knows, because he's been in a lot of contact with us, it was a little tricky for us because it wasn't clearly listed in the historical documents as being Saddlebrook. It was Saddle River Township, which we first knew about in 1716, all right? And then over time, the boundaries changed. Garfield broke away. We saw Fairlawn broke away. But Saddlebrook, as we know it today, never moved. It was still in the same place. And the reason that the voters decided to, in 1955, to change the name was because there was some postal problems, from what I understand, because there was Upper Saddle River and the Borough Saddle River. And we have the documents here, which I'll show you in a second. The name was changed by a vote of the residents on November 8th, 1955. We have those documents. That was certified by the Township Committee on November 26th, 1955. That was 3 years before I was born. And so let me just share with you some of the documents. You see some maps, and you're not going to be able to see them so well from out there, but I'll tell you about them. The first map up on top is the Saddle River Land Company, and if you look close at it, you'll recognize a lot of the streets that are still here today, and some of the land areas and stuff. It's from July 1907, and we have that original map. There's another map that actually goes together, two of them, from July 21st, 1932. It says alignment map of Outwater Lane, July 21st, 1932, Township of Saddlebrook, showing the land to be acquired for widening. And you'll see the side streets, all the side streets that are there today. So we have that in here. We have another map of the property of Henry DeBoer. Does that ring a bell? Henry DeBoer, Township of Saddle River. It's from April 20th, 1933. But you look at the streets, those are the streets that are in Saddlebrook today. And then we have Saddle River Returns, the spring election of 1792, and it's to the county clerk. And it says that the Township of Saddle River, on that date, the following persons were chosen for the respective positions. And there's a lot of names here. There's one that I kind of recognize was Samuel Van Zorn. I don't know if that had anything to do with the park, but that was one that I noticed. There's a lot of other names here. Looks like a Henry Mead. But if you have a chance to look at it, you probably recognize the names. We have Saddle River returns, election returns, from April of 1803. And it shows the names of the people who were freeholders, judges. There's someone who's an overseer of the poor, and a lot of other titles that don't exist today. Okay. And then finally, the one that I saw as most significant is the one that's in the white here. That's when Saddlebrook became Saddlebrook by name, even though it was always here and never moved. Township Committee certified November 26, 1955. It's the minutes of the regular meeting of Township Committee of Saddlebrook, and it was held at the Franklin School on Caldwell Avenue. And it tells who was present. The mayor is Walter Ochner. I think that's how you say it. There's a John Jordan who's also present, and the other ones I really can't make out. Saddle River Township, shall the name of this municipality, Township of Saddle River, be changed, and shall there be adopted that the name of the municipality be Township of Saddlebrook? The vote was 1,745 for the change to Saddlebrook and 1,070 against the change. And it looks like the majority ruled. The county clerk at that time who got this, he was Alexander Allen, who I think may have been the longest serving county. I think he served for 30 years, from what I heard. So we wanted to share this with you this evening, Mayor. We'd like to make this presentation. We hope that you'll find a place where you
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, County Clerk Hogan. We are going to proudly display this in our council chambers. Thank you again. At this time, I want to bring up Business Administrator Peter Ladico, who also, okay, he's gonna do it from here. He's not gonna get up. But we have a special presentation that he would like to offer to everyone.
We have minutes that go back to the 1860s. One of our ordinances, as a matter of fact, we have ordinance number 1 that was introduced and adopted in 1895. And the mayor asked me to read it this evening. The Township Committee of the Township of Saddle River and the County of Bergen does hereby ordain, Section 1, that hereafter a rebate of taxes for township or road programs shall be owed to all owners of wagons and carts used in the township of Saddle River for the transportation of goods, wares, merchandise, produce, passengers, and for general farm, freight, and express purposes, having tires of not less than 4 inches in width. Said rebate so allowed shall be the sum of 50 cents for each wheel in use in any 1 year. Section 2, and be it further ordained that the ordinance shall take effect June 1st, 1895. Section 3, and be it further ordained that this ordinance shall be published 5 times successively in the Hackensack Republican, a newspaper published in the county of Bergen and circulated in the township of Saddle River. The foregoing ordinance was duly passed at a meeting of the Township Committee held April 10th, 1895. I checked today, our last ordinance that we adopted was ordinance 1606. So since 1895, we've adopted quite a few ordinances. Any resident who wants to rebate, please see me tomorrow at Town Hall. I'll be happy to give you the 50 cents if you bring the wagon. And I'd like to thank Clark Printing from Saddlebrook, who prepared the poster for us as a donation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Pete. Pete wears an awful lot of hats here in town, and one I recently appointed him as the township historian, which I believe was a very good choice. Pete might not know about things from the 1800s, but ask him anything from 1970 on. He's, especially regarding politics, he knows. He's been around. So thank you, Pete. The next order of business that we have is the month of March is Women in History Month. So last year we recognized 5 women, and this year we're going to do the same, 4 women and 1 organization. So I'd like to start out with Sister Jadwiga Zembra. I have a proclamation, but I just want to say a couple of words before I read the proclamation. I know Sister for several years now, and I find her to be a very caring and compassionate person. One of her jobs is she's the administrator of St. Joseph's Senior Home in Woodbridge. She's also, where I got to know her, she's the director of religious education at St. Philip's the Apostle Church here in town. Sister, she puts her heart and soul into everything she does, but she especially enjoys teaching the children and instilling values to the children that she meets, and encourages them to become good citizens. So I'm very happy and pleased to award her and give her this proclamation. I'm going to read it now. Flowers for Sister. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, honoring Sister Jadwiga Zembra in celebration of Women in History Month. Whereas Sister Jadwiga Zembra was born and raised in Poland. She is the daughter of Victoria and Anthony. Sister has 4 brothers and 2 sisters. And whereas at the age of 18, while in Poland, Sister Jadwiga entered the congregation and studied. She received her degree in education. In 1993, she came to the United States, where she attended Middlesex County College to study English as a second language. Sister continued her studies at Seton Hall University, where she received an additional degree in education and administration. And whereas in 2005, Sister Jadwiga was appointed the administrator at St. Joseph's Senior Home in Woodbridge, New Jersey. In 2013, Sister came to St. Philip the Apostle Church, where she was named the Director of Religious Education. And whereas Sister's goal as the director is to have students more involved in the parish activities and reaching parents to help engage the children through leading by example. Sister also wishes to embrace all the children in Saddlebrook, not just the children who are Catholic. Finally, in 2016 is the year of mercy, and Sister would love to take the young generation of students to the cathedral in Newark to experience the mercy of God. Now, therefore, on the third day of March 2016, I, Robert D. White, the mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, in honor of Women in History Month, honor and recognize Sister Jadwiga Zembra for her dedication to the Township of Saddlebrook and education services. Sister wants to say a few words.
Dear Mayor, dear and Council Member of Township of Saddlebrook, and all of you present here, from the bottom of my heart, I wish thank you for recognition, which I think is the special one because I live in different townships in Middlesex County, and in a very short period of time, I got this accomplishment. I want to thank the community of Saddlebrook because from the day when I came here as the religious education, I feel in my parish here in the Saddlebrook Township like this is my home. I was welcomed very warm, starting from the pastor, other priests, parishioners, and my dear catechists who are always supporting me. In fact, you can see them here. I also get all the credits from my student and the people, adults, and I know that all the praise belong to God, and whatever I have, I got from God through the goodness of my parents, my community education, and I can promise this evening that I will continue to put heart that the young generation will be prepared to be a good Catholic, good citizen of this township and the country. They will be faithful to God and respectful to the parents. And I will tell you, last but not least, I admire our leader because I will tell you that he wasn't yet in this position. We walked together for the Walk for Life to the Rochelle Park, and Mayor, I can whisper to you, he was not afraid to go and take the Holy Rosary in procession with the crucifix, together with here the chief policeman, Mr. Kugler. And believe me, this touched my heart, that this gentleman is good stand-up mayor for the township, because he is truthful. Whatever he believes, he put in practice. And still, he is a lecturer, even though he is the mayor. Like I said, all praise belongs to God. Thank God for Mayor White, and thank God for all of you, council and parishioners. Take my dear, dear catechist. Thank you. And I promise each one of you that you're going to be in my prayer, not only this evening coming home, but I will pray like I do always. May God bless us all and our country and America.
Thank you, Sister. I think sister might have missed her calling. I think maybe you should have been a politician. Very nice, thank you. Okay, next, unfortunately, she could not be here tonight, but our next recipient is Teresa Greco of Terry's Florist. Her and her husband, the late husband Angelo, opened their florist here on Market Street back in 1965. And the florist, the business has been flourishing ever since. Terry, as she's known, is a very honest, straightforward, no-nonsense kind of person. She tells it like it is, and I like that, and I think most of her customers like that as well. She loves Saddlebrook. She's been here a long time, and I'm very proud to call her a friend. Again, unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight to accept this proclamation, but I'm going to read it anyhow. And she can hopefully watch it on our town's cable television station. Like Mr. Hogan, I need the glasses. Okay, whereas Teresa Greco was born in Garfield, New Jersey, to Philomena and Albert Staffa. She has two sisters, Linda and Louise, and whereas after graduating, Teresa began working as a machine operator and met Angelo Greco Sr., who she married on January 21st, 1950. Together, they have 3 children. Whereas in the mid-1950s, contrary to a period in time when a high percentage of women were homemakers, Terry and her sister Linda were trailblazers who applied their talent and opened a floral arrangement business called Terry Lynn's Florist and Gift Shop in Elmwood Park, New Jersey. Whereas about 10 years later, in 1965, Terry and her husband Angelo opened Terry's Florist in Saddlebrook. The shop, which has been in business for over 50 years, is filled with displays of sprays and arrangements that Terry takes pride in creating. Terry proudly serves the residents of Saddlebrook and surrounding areas. She has also designed countless bouquets, arrangements, and corsages for many of our township events. The period between Thanksgiving and Christmas is an especially joyous time for Terry because some of her best work goes into crafting her holiday pieces as well as beautiful grave blankets. Now, therefore, on the 3rd day of March 2016, I, Robert D. White, Mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, in honor of Women in History Month, honor and recognize Teresa Greco for her dedication to the Township of Saddlebrook and for her outstanding business leadership. Thank you. Okay, our next recipient truly is an outstanding citizen. She's a driven person who continuously strives to help others, especially those with special needs and disabilities. Here are a few examples of her accomplishments. She works in the special education field. She's the co-founder, along with her husband, and the coach of the Saddlebrook Angels soccer program, which is a program for children with various disabilities. The Angels soccer has been so successful that she's now currently working on 2 other programs, one in lacrosse and one in cheerleading. She's also the director of God's Special Children, which is a religious education group also out of St. Philip's Church. There's many other things that she's done, and you'll hear that in the proclamation now. Monica, you want to come? Okay, here we go again. Whereas Monica Maniscalco was born in Ecuador, South America. She is the daughter of Rosa and Caesar and has one sister, Susan. Monica is married to James Maniscalco, who together share 2 children, Michael, 14, and Samantha, 11. And whereas in 1970, Monica and her family moved from Ecuador to Queens, New York, where she attended Our Lady of the Senecal Primary School and St. John's Preparatory High School in Astoria, Queens. Monica then went on to study at John Jay College, and she graduated in 1995 with a Bachelor's of Science degree. She continued her studies. Monica attended the University of Phoenix, receiving her master's degree in special education and in 2010. And whereas Monica works for the Youth Consultation Services, where she teaches Italian and computer technology at George Washington School in Hackensack. It is a specialized school for children with emotional, behavioral, and academic disabilities. She is the co-founder and coach of the Saddlebrook Angel Soccer Program, which consists of children of various ages and disabilities. Monica is also the founder and director of God's Special Children, the religious education program run out of St. Philip's, the Apostle Church. She is also a member of the Lions Club and a mentoring mom for the Bergen County Volunteer Center, as well as the secretary for the Boy Scouts Troop 2213. Monica is in the process of putting together a lacrosse and cheer program in Saddlebrook for children with disabilities. Most recently, she joined the Township's Access for All Committee, whose goal is to ensure that people with disabilities have access to resources and services. Now, therefore, on the third day of March 2016, I, Robert D. White, Mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, in honor of Women in History Month, honor and recognize Monica Maniscalco for her dedication to the Township of Saddlebrook and her outstanding citizenship. Thank you. Oh, she wants us away from the men's room door.
Thank you so much, Mayor White. Councilman, I am tired just kind of hearing from all that. I'm like, I didn't realize how much it actually was. But I just wanted to thank my family, because without their support, their strength, they're my anchor. My friends, who are my family. And I can assure you this evening that, as I have in the past, I will continue to advocate, to work for children with special needs, for those children that don't have a voice, for those parents that are caught up in the maze of IEPs and so many other struggles that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. My programs have been available now for a few years, and my proudest moments are those when the parents come and they tell me that their doctors have told them that because of our sports programs, that their children are doing very well, that because of our religious ed program, their social skills have improved. And there is no greater feeling than when those kids have those aha moments and you see them at Mass, working on their own, sitting through Mass, receiving their sacraments, or when I see them on the field and they're running to our coaches saying, "Coach, coach, look at me, I can do it." Yes, those children can do it. Thank you so much for all your support, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Okay, next, we have an organization that we're honoring, the Saddlebrook Women's Club. Paula Bernstein, the vice president, is here. Everybody can come up. That's good. That's Currently, the Women's Club of Saddlebrook has 44 members, mostly from Saddlebrook, but there are some that are from the surrounding area. They are a nonprofit organization, and they mainly focus on helping women and children. They donate to several different charities, including the Domestic Violence Against Women, Breast Cancer Awareness, and Alzheimer's Awareness. They also donate many hours to township functions and assist our Projects and Activities Committee. So I'm going to read the proclamation now. Whereas in May 2012, the Saddlebrook Women's Club was created. It is the parent organization of the General Federation of Women's Club. And whereas they currently have about 44 members who vary in age from 18 and older, the club is open to Saddlebrook residents and the surrounding area. And whereas Saddlebrook Women's Club is a nonprofit organization that focuses on the needs of women and children. They donate to many charities such as domestic violence against women, breast cancer awareness, and Alzheimer's awareness. Whereas in 2005, the Saddlebrook Women's Club raised $20,000 and is currently working on their annual Trick or Treat fundraiser. Their hope is to raise more money and add new foundations to their list. And whereas the Women's Club members donate many hours to the township functions and assist our Projects and Activities Committee to help create memorable and successful events for our residents to enjoy. Now, therefore, on the third day of March 2016, I, Robert D. White, Mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, in honor of Women in History Month, honor and recognize the Saddlebrook Women's Club for their dedication to the Township of Saddlebrook and outstanding civic service. Thank you. At this time, I would like Virginia Brendel to come up. The person that's going to receive this next proclamation exemplifies what it means to be a volunteer. You can always count on her to be available and help whenever the township needs her. She helps everyone. She donates so much of her time and energy to doing community service and never asks for anything in return. The person I'm speaking to, she might not know it right now because she's busy looking at the next photo she's going to take, is Miss Joanne Brendel. Joanne is a good friend of mine. She's a member of the VFW Ladies Auxiliary, also the American Legion, and Unico National. Past member of Unico National. You probably see her at most township events taking photos. She's self-taught, but I can tell you that she takes some of the most spectacular photos that I've ever seen. She's a perfectionist, sometimes a pain in the neck because she's always looking for that great shot. I can't say enough how much we, the whole town, appreciates what you do for us. She's a good friend of mine and one of the kindest people that you're ever going to meet. I'm going to read the proclamation now. Whereas Joanne Brendel, born to Virginia and Harold Brendel Sr., she is one of 5 siblings and a lifelong resident of the Township of Saddlebrook. And whereas Joanne is a graduate of Saddlebrook High School, class of 1971, and is currently employed by Movado Watch Company as a customer service representative. Whereas Joanne is a member of the Saddlebrook VFW Post 3484, Ladies Auxiliary of the American Legion, Post 415, and past member of Unico National, Saddlebrook chapter. Whereas Joanne is a volunteer for the New Jersey Veterans Memorial Home in Paramus, where she visits and interacts with patients. Whereas Joanne is a 2-time cancer survivor who also belongs to the Susan G. Komen Foundation and works to raise money to fight against breast cancer. And whereas Joanne is a photographer who volunteers her time by attending many township events and organization functions to capture memories for all of our residents to enjoy. Now, therefore, on the third day of March 2016, I, Robert D. White, the Mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, in honor of Women in History Month, honor and recognize Joanne Brendel for her dedication to the Township of Saddlebrook and outstanding civic service. Thank you. Joanne, you got to speak. You don't have to, but I would like you to.
This is definitely a shock for me, but I was self-taught in photography, following in my father's footsteps, who was taking pictures when I was young, and I just grew with the passion over the years, and I enjoy doing the photos for the town, all the wonderful organizations that I was proud to be involved with, especially my friends from Unico, Joe and Marilyn, who taught me so much about service above self, and I cannot thank those two for teaching me so much about community service. They are truly the epitome of awesome people. I made so many friends along the way. Can't thank everybody enough. The Women's Club for what they do and knowing so many of the members. But also Chief Kugler, who I've grown with over the years. And my dear friend Robert White, who I got involved with on his campaign and started just prospering with my photography. My friends with the Angel Soccer, the Boy Scouts, who I love doing things with, and just about everybody. We do have an awesome town with the most amazing people, and I hope that we continue to grow and keep doing our community service and helping one another. And of course, to the best mayor Saddlebrook could ever ask for, Bobby White.
Thank you, Joey. Pete might have something to say about that.
When do I read this?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to invite up Councilwoman Karen DiArminio to read a resolution, please.
I'm going to stay seated, okay? Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation, state, and township in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of life. And whereas women have played a unique role throughout our history by volunteering and establishing charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions. And whereas women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society to all. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of women in our history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that it hereby joins the national celebration of Women's History Month, and be it further resolved that the Township Council hereby recognizes and congratulates the honorees here tonight for their distinguished service to our community.
Thank you, Councilwoman DiArminio. I think you've summed that up very, very well. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to entertain a motion now to open the meeting up to the public.
Motion.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer? Councilwoman DiArminio?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Camilleri?
Yes. Okay, at this time, the meeting is now open to the public. Anybody wishing to speak, please come forward.
It's on now. Remember, it fell, so.
I want to congratulate all
Excuse me,
women.
can you just please, your name and your address, please?
Sorry. My name is Ryan Roy. I live in 167 North West Wing Avenue, Salbring, New Jersey. Sorry, I forgot about that. That's what I'm saying. I want to congratulate all women to really, who really took part of knowing how to be part of contributing themselves to society, and especially to our religious leader, Sister Yaviga Saramba, for almost 3 years of your service as being the director of CCD and especially, under the leadership of our pastor, Father Dismas Penkridge, you have, fulfilled a lot, what has to be said upon the table. Secondly, to Miss Monica Maniscalco, who I refer her as my friend, and my, the older sister that I never had in my life. We actually, if it wasn't for her, appointing me to work with you and, helping your children, helping the kids in CCD through your program, I would really, hand it out to you for how you teach me a lot and how to, manage and know how to work with them. Especially now I have a son who's 6 months old, and I actually have to really give a lot more attention to and making sure he's happy. And last and formally, Joanne Brendel, for all the photography you take, within the town itself, and all the skills you possess from within, I really have to really, credit to you and all the things you possess. And, you should be really proud in how you are doing, a lot. And ever since, things have changed, since of last year, I really, want to let you know that hopefully through Councilman Sumaluka, I'm going to be have a meeting with Jim DeBerry to, to really go for the Access for All. And I know that I've been involved in a lot of organizations through Mr. DeBerry, and I'm no stranger to him because I serve as one of the community members to the Bergen County Community Transportation. And also other affiliations with BRAN, that's Bergen Regional Advocacy Network, that's through HIP. That's through the, Council on Developmental Disabilities. That's through the, the chapter of People First. So, I want to really conclude that, and, kudos to all women, and I pay respect and homage.
Please know that we will be part of everything that happens here in Saddlebrook because we are excited. I know that everyone knows about the hotel. Everyone can't wait for the hotel to be open, but I assure you, we can't wait more than you can wait because we are thrilled to have it open. In the next couple of weeks, that will happen. I know that years ago, everyone knew that the hotel had a club upstairs. I assure you, there's no club upstairs from our hotel. Happy about
Miss
that?
Boomers.
Yeah, Boomers. Hey, I patronize Boomers a lot. It's going to be a beautiful restaurant and a beautiful lounge with a beautiful private area that you can have a party and you can have a lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever you'd like. Just to refresh your memory, there's 148 guest rooms, 6,500 square feet of meeting space, and everything in the hotel is brand new. For those who saw the hotel years ago, maybe as the Treadway, maybe as the Holiday Inn, I remember all of that, come and see the hotel now, and I assure you, you will see something so very, very different. We are on the last phases of the finishing touches, every little screw to be turned in and nail to be hammered, and I can't explain enough how beautiful, beautiful the hotel is. We do have a season pool, and we have 1,200 square feet of state-of-the-art workout equipment. So when you see this equipment, it's just like going to a regular gym. Lots and lots of parking. We're going to have a grab-and-go breakfast in the lobby, not only for the hotel guests, but for anyone. You can come on in, grab some breakfast, grab a cup of coffee, sit, or you can go to work. It really doesn't matter. We know that we're the new kids on the block. We know we're not the only kids on the block, but I assure you, when you come to our hotel, you're going to stay at our hotel and won't go to any other hotel on the block. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask me. I have the answers, hopefully, for you. And I apologize that our general manager, Orlando Machado, couldn't be here. But Orlando is an EMT in his town, and he's out there saving lives tonight. So we appreciate that. Yes?
It
Yes, the top floor of our hotel is the 12th floor, and there is a panoramic view. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So my objective here tonight was to let everyone know about the hotel, to assure you that the hotel will be open shortly, and actually to meet everyone. And Mayor, I haven't met you. It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you. And so once again, come to the hotel, see the hotel. You'll be very surprised at what you see. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka? Yes. Councilwoman Mazer? Yes. Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Camilleri?
Yes. Okay, now we're going to move on to mayor and council comments. Want to start, Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. I want to start off just talking a little bit about the budget, which I submitted to the council on Tuesday night, this past Tuesday. The tax appeals had a big impact again this year. I want to thank Pete, Ray Carnival, and our auditor, Steve Walcotts. We worked very hard together to cut that increase in half. So I think we're doing pretty well with that compared to where we started. But we are having a budget meeting on Wednesday, March the 16th, our first. At that time, we should be recommending, or making a recommendation for the council to take action for a digital sign, which Mr. Samaluka proposed a while ago. So hopefully we'll have that to vote on the 16th. Our salt shed is just about complete. The only thing we're waiting on is the overhead door. Today, there was the first delivery of salt to that shed. So I'm very happy to report that. While talking about things that I'm happy about, our grant writer is coming through for us. We received our application for the DBW garage, engine company number 2, and hook and ladder have all been approved under the direct install grant program. So we're receiving about $30,000 for the DBW, $17,350 for engine company number 2, and $12,380 for hook and ladder. Also, we are getting a reimbursement from Passaic Valley Sewer Commission of $20,500 for an overpayment, which apparently we paid too much, so we're getting that back. We've already received a $4,500 rebate for connection fees, so they got a gain of $25,000 in that regard. Some meetings. We had a school liaison meeting on Monday, February 22nd. Myself and Councilman Accomando attended that, along with Peter Ladico. Perhaps Councilman Accomando may want to elaborate a little more when he speaks on that. We had a 300th anniversary committee meeting on Tuesday, February 23rd. A mayor's youth group meeting on Saturday, February 27th. Last night, we had our first Access for All meeting here at the Senior Citizen Center. Councilman Samaluka is the chairperson of that committee, and I'm sure he will address that when he speaks. I'm looking forward to next week, Tuesday, March the 8th. Peter Ladico and I are meeting with the Bergen County Shared Services Coordinator. His name is Tom Richards. And we're hoping to get together with them and some other surrounding towns and do some projects together related to flood mediation and drainage improvements. On March the 7th, ARP is having their meeting at 1 o'clock here at the senior building. Representatives from the Bergen County Housing and Development will be there to discuss senior housing. Councilwoman Darminio will more than likely discuss that when she speaks. I mentioned we're having the budget meeting on Wednesday, March 16th, 7 o'clock at Town Hall. Some upcoming events. 300th anniversary pancake breakfast is going to be Saturday, March 19th, 9 to 11 a.m. at the Dynasty Buffet. Tickets are $5, $7 at the door. See my secretary, Christine, for tickets, or any member of the 300th anniversary committee. Tickets are going very fast. We're anticipating up to 200 people to come to that event. The Easter celebration, our annual Easter celebration, is the same day, Saturday, March 19th, from 12 noon to 2 p.m., and that's at the Saddlebrook High School Gymnasium. The Ambulance Corps has their fish and chips dinner Friday, March 25th, from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Ambulance Corps building. Tickets are $12. It's a very worthy cause. Lastly, the 300th anniversary, we're having a dedication service at the First Reformed Church on Saturday, April the 2nd. I just want to say I want to congratulate all the honorees for Women in History. I want to thank Bergen County Clerk John Hogan again and his staff for this very nice poster that we are going to display in council chambers. I just want to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day and a happy Easter. Thank you.
Council comments? Todd, you want to start?
Yeah, I want to elaborate on the meeting we had with the Board of Ed. We spoke of putting cameras and videoing the meetings, and also lightning detectors on all the schools and the fields and the Little Leagues as well. And also implementing some summer programs from the Board of Ed into the rec program. That being said, that's pretty much all I believe we spoke on. I'd also like to mention that the Fire Department Engine 1 is having a bus trip to Atlantic City on April 10th. Excuse me. April 10th. The cost is $30 a ticket. It's a $20 give back, and they're leaving at 10 a.m. from the firehouse. I would also like to mention basketball this year has been probably the best year I've ever seen it, being involved with it. I just want to commend Manny Scarangella and Diane Bonner for the transition. It was a great program, and I just want to thank them for the time they put in, and the coaches as well. The coaches did a fantastic job on every level, and that's all I have to say as far as that goes. Just happy St. Patrick's Day, and have a nice Easter.
Yes. I'd like to congratulate all the women who were recognized tonight for Women in History Month. I'd also like, as the mayor said, Monday, March 7th, is Saddlebrook AARP Chapter 3785's meeting. We will be hosting the representatives from the Bergen County Housing Authority regarding the senior housing across the street on Caldwell Avenue. They will be here to explain the update on where they are at with that, and they'll take any questions that we have. Non-members are welcome. I would also like to say, if anybody would like to join, I'd love to have you in ARP, but certainly if you could make it Monday, I think it would be, if you're interested in the housing, it would be good to come. On March 9th, I will be attending a meeting at the Bergen County Community Development requesting grants this year. Last year, we received $67,000 to start Phase 1 of the 6th District Drainage Project, and we also received money for the Senior Center. This year, we are going out for 3 grants for Phase 2 of the 6th District Drainage. for a grant to the barrier-free restroom facilities at Veterans Field, and also additional funding, a grant for the senior center. We have another meeting planned, flood meeting planned. We haven't had one since last year. We're trying to get the date together between the county, the freeholders, so everybody can come. It should be at the end of this month. As soon as the date is confirmed, we will publish it, social media, the TV, and in the newspaper. At that meeting, we will be discussing the flood insurance ratings program, which we did speak about at the first meeting. This is a program that the township has to meet certain criteria, and for each criteria that they meet, you get a percentage off. So although we can't do anything immediately with the river, by starting this program, it will give immediate relief to the residents and businesses who pay flood insurance, flood insurance. So that will be, as I said, announced as soon as we have the confirmed date. Our annual Easter egg hunt will be March 19th from 12 to 2 at Saddlebrook High School. I'd like to thank Walmart for sponsoring it again this year. They did last year, and they're doing it again this year. And finally, I would like to wish all my Irish friends a happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't want to forget the Italians. It's St. Joseph's Day. And also, happy Easter. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I, too, would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the honorees this evening. We thank you for your service, and we're truly grateful to have you a part of our community. As the mayor mentioned, at the 300-year anniversary, we've been meeting, and I was appointed to be chairperson of the park that we're going to have dedicated for our township, the Tricentennial Park, which will be on the corner of Platt and Saddle River Road. I had the opportunity to meet with the contractor that is there, using it as a staging place, and he has reassured our township that he will be more than happy to provide us whatever we need for the to see this project, and we're going to hold him to it. And at our work session, we we're really getting on our professionals to get moving with plans for our concession stand and also the bathrooms. We need that project to be done yesterday, and we're going to be on top of them to make sure that it gets done in a timely fashion. Thank you. Happy Easter. Passover to everyone.
First and foremost, I want to congratulate, as everyone else has done, all the recipients of the awards tonight. It's well deserved. At the last meeting, I talked about signs, and I'm glad that the signs on Leicester, they're actually on the corner of Erie and Leicester, have been erected. It's a small street. Leicester's a one-way street. I'm sorry, it's a one-block street which goes into a commercial establishment. And there's tractor trailers that go directly into that establishment. They shouldn't be. They've been told not to do that, but they do it anyway. So we put up signs. Now it's a matter of enforcement. But I appreciate the fast action, because I went there 2 or 3 days after the meeting last month, and they were up. So I appreciate that. And again, I talked about this, I guess, for about 6 or 7 months. This digital sign. It just shows that government works very slow, but eventually we'll be getting there, and hopefully, like the mayor said at our budget meeting, I'll be happy to make the motion to approve that, and we can pay for that. I think that'll be a bonus for the town. This way, it's another way to get information out, and I think information is key. If you don't have the information, you don't know what's going on. At the work session the other day, I brought up an issue, and I was very disappointed in what I heard. We were under the impression that Midland Avenue and Saddle River Road and part of Market Street was going to be paved as part of a program from the county, because they are all county roads. And what we had to do was to pay for and install barrier-free curb cuts and ramps on all the intersections before they would do the paving. And what would happen is we pay for it, the engineering's done, hire the contractor, get it done, and then they pave, and then we get reimbursed for all that. I was kind of upset to hear that apparently that well has run dry, and there is no longer the funds in there potentially to pay for all that, which greatly upset me, because I've been telling people, I got people calling me up, you said a year and a half ago we're going to get this thing paved. Anyone, and obviously if you live in Saddlebrook, anybody in Saddlebrook pretty much has to go on Midland Avenue. It's like a third world country trying to navigate the roads. It's horrible. And so I had a meeting with Freeholder DiNicola, and I'll talk about what that meeting was about. But since I had the captive audience of a freeholder last night, I said, what's going on with this? You got to help us out here, because this is just not right. We were promised something, and we spent the money, and we got our engineers to do a lot of work on this. I did get a call from her today saying that she was in touch. Tom Connolly is the director of roads, or superintendent of roads for Bergen County. And Pete, I don't even know if you know about this, but Mr. Connolly has advised that he will be in contact with you in the next day or two to discuss this issue and to see where the money is and if there is any money. But according to the freeholder, there's money someplace, and there's always money someplace. But we've got to pressure them, because we've got at least three county roads going through our town, and at least Midland Avenue, that's a horror show. The other two, not that bad, but Midland Avenue's got to be fixed, so we got to get on them. In terms of Veterans Field, Ms. Mazur had talked about that. Certainly, it's another area where I personally am a little disappointed in the pace. I figured that we would be well on our way toward it. We don't have plans yet, but we're working on them. Our goal, it may be pie in the sky. Originally, it wasn't pie in the sky, but our goal is to have the snack stand and the restrooms available for the next fall season for football. I mean, that's really what we want to do, and it should be there. And I know Rick and his crew are going to work very, very hard on trying to speed this process up. I mean, like I say, government works slow, but sometimes you gotta really kick it into gear. So hopefully that's going to happen. We talked about Veterans Field, recreation. I was happy to hear, see, I'm always disappointed, but I was happy on Tuesday night to hear from the mayor that there is money in the budget proposed that we can potentially have a full-time recreation director. There is money being put in the budget. The way it works is we're already into March, so it would be half a salary, proposed salary, that's put in the budget for that position. Obviously, we don't know who it would be. We have to figure out what that person would do and how much they would be paid, but there is money in that budget. I actually did not vote for the budget last year because it was not in there. I've been pushing for this for years. I appreciate everything that any recreation commissioner has ever done for us. It's a ridiculously hard amount of work. It's a ridiculous amount of time that they spend. So hats off to all of them. But I've felt for years that I think that for the township to move forward recreation-wise, that full-time rec director is warranted. Now, the mayor had talked about this Access for All committee, which I was honored to be chosen as the chairman. We had our first meeting last night, and Freeholder DiNicola was there. She seems to be the point person from the county on that. We tossed around a bunch of different ideas. We are going to be meeting on the first Wednesday of every month. We've decided on that. We're just feeling things out about what we're going to do. but we already had thrown around some ideas. This is to give everyone equal access to all things in Saddlebrook. And I think the first thing, and I'm going to tell Pete doesn't know about this, but the first kind of complaint or suggestion or advice that we're going to give is that we have one of our members who suffers from muscular dystrophy and has a wheelchair and has a wheelchair accessible van. Well, when he parked last night, he did not see that there is a handicap space because there is no sign here that says handicap parking. So we've got to get the handicap parking sign up. And also, if you ever see this, next to that handicap space, sometimes there should be blue lines, blue striped lines. That means don't park there, because if somebody has a handicapped modified van, their ramp comes out of there, and that's made so this way they can come out. And we came out, we're talking about all this, and then he said, I can't get into my van. Well, why? Because he didn't know that it was a handicap spot, so he parked in a regular spot. A person parked in the handicap spot, blocking him. So, he's outside, it's 36 degrees, and he's freezing, and he can't get into his van. So I'm going to ask two things, if we can work on getting a sign up there, and also the blue lines that are painted there might have been painted years and years and years ago, and we had a hard time. He even said, I didn't know there were blue lines here. They are very, very faded. So if we can get the DPW on that would help. But little things like that. We're going to start small. We talked about maybe getting a logo and getting the high school or anybody involved, maybe having a town-wide project to develop our logo and having a contest. Things like that. Next month, we are inviting Jim Thieberry, who Mr. Roy had acknowledged before. He's with the county. And I think he's going to be a source of information and documentation that we can use. Also, we're going to bring in Joe Abiso, who is our webmaster for the town. We understand that some other towns have websites that have a lot of information on them regarding disability services. We don't right now, but certainly part of our Access for All committee is that we want to do that. I brought some stuff here, and my time's not up. There's no time limit for me. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, my son had to attend a funeral of a former classmate of his, and a person, and out of respect for the family, not going to mention the name, but he was a young man. I think he was 23 years old, and he died of a drug overdose. And it's sad. No one should have to bury their child. So it's out there, and a friend of mine also had lost her child 2 years ago. She actually wrote a book, and I'm not going to read the whole book, so don't get scared. But there is something in this book. It's her name is Linda Latterman. The book is Life After You. It says what your death from drugs leaves behind, and it's basically written basically to her dead son and what that has caused in their life. And I'm just going to read a little bit of it, I promise. It's, my son had no idea that his poor choices would cost him his life and devastate his family. Most teens who experiment with drugs don't either. They think it will never happen to them. My son didn't know the fatal drug he used was concocted by a drug dealer who was an evil, greedy monster, someone who cut and mixed drugs without any knowledge of dosage proportion. A monster posing as a friend to the local teenagers, selling them whatever drug they requested. This monster doesn't resemble the drug dealers often depicted in TV dramas. Rather, he's the father of 3 children and lives in the next town. By the way, Ms. Latterman lives in Ramsey, and she lives in a very nice neighborhood in Ramsey. 2 of his kids went to high school with my son. There was no need to travel to the inner city. Drugs were plentiful and right around the corner, being supplied by a trusted dad in the community. The order was filled through the use of a phone app. The record of the sale ultimately erased. There are monsters like this all over the world, and they are not going away as long as there are customers buying their drugs. Drug dealers are everywhere, in schools, college dorms, hair salons, and any other place you can imagine. These drug dealers look normal and non-threatening, Your teens need to understand that these people and the drugs they sell are dangerous and, in many cases, lethal. Again, her son was 19 years old and was taken away. It hit home in Saddlebrook just a couple weeks ago. And in that regard, I just happened to see this today when going through the website for the county. It is, by the way, www.co.bergen.nj.us. There's something called Addiction Services. That's a part of their website. On March 22nd, 7 to 9 a.m. at Indian Hills High School, it's an interactive awareness event for parents, caretakers, educators, and community members. It's run by the county. This is going to be on, I'm going to ask that this be put on our town website. If anyone who has a child that they think may be involved, and like Ms. Latterman says in her book, if your child's friends are doing drugs, the chances are that your children are also doing drugs. So you have to see, and it's called hidden in plain sight because it's right in front of people, and sometimes you just don't see it. And it's not placing blame on the parents, obviously. It's hard, and people go to great lengths to hide their addiction, but it's something that you don't want to lose a child like we had another a child in Saddlebrook lost. On a obviously much happier note, it is Irish Heritage Month this month, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, so I wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. Not going to say who's running it, but March 12th, if you want the best corned beef in town, contact me, and we'll get you in. And I want to thank everybody here for indulging me in my comments. Thank you.
Okay, lastly, I just would like to thank John Hogan for coming by with his presentations. All the Women in History Month, I would like to congratulate all of them. It's very important. Mayor, you did a great job on your presentations. I would also like to talk a little bit about sports. I mean, one of the women who came up here talked about it, and I'm still directly involved in sports in town, and I don't plan on going anywhere soon. So sports do a lot for kids and our community. One thing I'd like to mention is the Saddlebrook High School wrestling team. We talk about history. Well, this was a historical year for them. They broke away from Glen Rock. They were on their own this year. They had a very successful season. I would like to thank all the wrestlers and coaches that were involved with that program. Winter sports, girls basketball, high school. I don't have any daughters. I have all sons, but I did hear great things about girls, records being set, 1,000 points being scored, and that's a lot of points. I'd like to say congratulations to you as well. And I would also like to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day, a happy Easter, and we're going to move on with our meeting. Thank you.
I would just like to take a moment to congratulate our cheerleaders who this past weekend competed at the Nationals. I believe our seniors came in first. Our spirit leaders, I believe, came in third, just kind of inched out of second. And I believe our Pee-wees did awesome, too. If I don't have them totally right, I apologize. But you all did great, and we're so very proud of each and every one of you, and the coaches and all the parents. Again, congratulations.
I know I'll get beat up if I don't mention it. March 10th, Smith School is having their casino night. So if you know anyone at Smith School, contact them. And March 11th, Unico is having bingo at the American Legion over there. So there's Unico members here are ready to pounce on me if I don't mention that. March 11th. It's I think it's only $20 to get in. It's a fun night. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along now, ordinances, there are none, so we're going to move right into our resolutions.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requests it, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications. Resolution number 26 is not part of the consent agenda.
Roll call. We need a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka? Yes. Councilwoman Mazur? Yes. Councilwoman DiArminio?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Camilleri?
Yes.
We have resolution number 26. Authorize the settlement of open bills for Costa Engineering.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Mazur? Yes. Councilwoman DiArminio?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Camilleri?
Yes. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the meeting back to the public on agenda items only.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka? Yes. Councilwoman Mazur? Yes. Councilwoman DiArminio?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Camilleri?
Yes. The meeting's now open to the public on agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close, or entertain the motion to close. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka? Yes. Councilwoman Mazur? Yes. Councilwoman DiArminio?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Camilleri?
Yes. We did skip old business. Have any old business? New business? Mayor.
Through the chair. Pete, can you shed a little light on the curb cuts and the paving of Midland Avenue? I think Councilman Samaluka may be looking at this in a negative way, that there's no more funding there. The way I understood it was there was no more funding left in 2015, but there will be additional funds in 2016. I think you would be the best person to speak about that, since you've been involved since the inception.
When we became aware of the program, the county roads are maintained by the County of Bergen. When paving is done, the township is responsible for putting in the curb cuts, as we've done in the past, but there are different standards today and have to be redone, and the county would reimburse us. As of last year, and it was probably near the end of their fiscal year, I'm not sure, the engineer had contacted the county because the plans are ready for the ADA cuts to be done, and was told they can't be done at this point in time because the county did not have funding to reimburse us. So we will follow up on that and see with the new fiscal year that started in January, as we did, available at this time.
Thank you. Just one other thing, Rick, our engineer, can you just please give us an update on what's going on with the Veterans Field concession stand and bathrooms?
Okay. We have recently, I think last week, we had received all the information that's needed to be, all the equipment and whatnot in the concession stands. We had a conversation today with the architect. We have respectfully requested that he work over the weekend to get the plans done so that we can make a submission hopefully next Friday. I'm not promising anything, but that's our target at this point. Thank you.
Okay, I just have a little bit of new business. I had the opportunity to get over to DPW this week and see for myself things that we did accomplish, and we are moving on in Saddlebrook. The DPW roof is complete. It's done. It's nice. I did view the salt shed, and they did a really good job on the salt shed. So what it is now we become independent. We don't have to rely on storing our salt in Maywood. We'd be able to keep more tabs on what's going in and out, and I think that's a good thing for our whole community. I just wanted to touch on that on new business. Thank you. With that being said, I'd entertain a motion to close the meeting. Roll call.
Councilman Simuluka. Yes. Councilwoman Mazur. Councilwoman D'Arminio.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Camilleri.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.